We begin with a Portland man who narrowly escaped serious injury after bullets flew into his bedroom. Police don't even think he was the target, but he was still put in danger. And Art Edwards reports they're still looking for who did it.
A chaotic scene played out early Saturday morning on Southeast Powell and 131st. Police officers swarmed the area after gunshots hit a house. A bullet grazed the shoulder of a man while he slept inside. Portland police released pictures of a bullet hole through the wall and also one into the headboard of the bed the man was in. He was not seriously injured and didn't need any medical attention. Police think the bullets were fired from a vehicle on Southeast Powell and 132nd and that they traveled a block before striking the home. In the daylight, the damage is easy to see, and it's unsettling for people living here. Matthew Harris was next door in his bedroom reading when the shots were fired.
All of a sudden I heard bap, 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 like 9 shots go off, like a whole clip. And then I waited for a while. I saw the cops showed up, and then I came down. I didn't want to come outside until they showed up. But I mean, it gets pretty bad around here. You hear it off in the distance, but this was close to home. I mean, it was pretty scary.
While people were trying to make sense of what happened here, Multnomah County leaders, including Sheriff Mike Reese, used a virtual town hall meeting to discuss gun violence.
Unfortunately, the violence we're seeing right now is eroding away the sense of safety and security in many of our neighborhoods.
Reese says sometimes it feels like a tale of two cities.
For those of us that may live in safe neighborhoods, primarily on the west side of Portland, southwest Portland or northwest Portland, we're not touched by what's happening in downtown and on the east side. And in many of those neighborhoods, gun violence is a daily occurrence.
While leaders search for answers, people living through the gun violence understand they have to take care of themselves.
It does worry me a lot, and I just hope everybody takes care and watches out for themselves and their children, of course, you know.
Art Edwards, KGW News.
All right, the witching hour is almost upon us. Tomorrow night, thousands of kids are going to head out trick-or-treating. So we've been talking with experts about what parents need to know this year through everything COVID-19, including health recommendations from OHSU.
One of our recommendations, this is a very strong recommendation, is that that kids wear one mask and one mask only. And that would be a personal protective mask, not 2 masks. And that means that when they're wearing their protective mask, they shouldn't be wearing their Halloween costume mask.
So that's Dr. Ben Hoffman there. And he also says kids over 2 should wear that protective gear if they're going to be close to others. For people giving out Halloween candy, Dr. Hoffman says get creative this year for everyone's safety.
You know, we saw an incredibly creative group of people last year with chutes and slides and pulleys and all that sort of stuff. So I would encourage people to do that.
And some more general tips here from OHSU. Make sure you and your kids are visible with reflective clothing or flashlights if you're headed out tomorrow. You should also use sidewalks and crosswalks whenever possible. Dr. Hoffman added it is a good idea to check candy before kids eat anything. And if you've got THC products or other drugs, especially those that look like candy, lock them away so there isn't any accidental mix-up. Now, driving is the other big safety factor this Halloween. It turns out traffic crashes are the leading cause of preventable injuries and deaths in Multnomah County. So leaders urge drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians to travel carefully this weekend. Drivers especially can help by just slowing down and being mindful.
I think the Bureau of Transportation has shared that they've seen high top-end speeding increase in 2020 and 2021. And speed is an important factor in all crashes, right? It increases the likelihood of a crash. It also affects the survivability of a crash, particularly if a pedestrian is involved.
Earlier this year, the Multnomah County Board declared racism a public health crisis, and officials then recognized a pattern in which people of color are more impacted by traffic crashes. They say some of the causes are differences in pavement, speed limits, and a lack of sidewalks in some underserved neighborhoods. Well, thieves around the metro are getting more bold when it comes to stealing catalytic converters off cars, just as a new law to stop that act is about to take effect. Check this out in Clackamas County. A thief was caught trying to steal that part from underneath the car in a Home Depot parking lot. Someone got it on their cell phone video here, and this was in the middle of the day. Police later arrested that man. Now, the parts, the catalytic converters, are often scrapped for precious metals, so a new state law aims to make that more difficult. It bans scrapyards from taking catalytic converters from anyone who's not a commercial seller. That starts, though, January 1st of 2022. A doctor from OHSU is suing the state of Oregon so that doctors can perform death with dignity procedures on patients from Washington state. The Death with Dignity Act started in 1997, and it allows terminally ill Oregonians to end their lives with a lethal dose of medication prescribed by a doctor. Several other states followed, but there's a regional issue that started this lawsuit. In Southwest Washington, for example, many healthcare facilities have opted out of these procedures by using a religious exemption. So that's why the OHSU doctor wants Oregon to change its law so he can treat patients from across the Columbia.
With the profound relief and relief of suffering that medical aid in dying can provide those selected patients, it pains me the times I've been unable to provide that service to patients who are asking me for it simply because of the geographic border.
Now, he says Oregon has good rules in place to make sure a patient is terminally ill and capable of making an end-of-life decision. Well, this is pretty cool. The Northern Lights could be visible from Oregon. That has a lot of people running out to the gorge tonight. Dozens are flooding into the Crown Point Scenic Corridor to try to get a glimpse. The lights will likely begin in just about an hour, but the peak could be around 2 in the morning, so you got to stay up late. It's never a guarantee you're actually going to see the aurora borealis. Tonight is the peak, though, and it could show up again tomorrow night as well. This is a line